As Christians, we sometimes forget that Christ is supposed to be king over every aspect of our lives, right? We want to give him certain parts that we feel, okay, we don't have under control, but then we, on the other hand, start controlling the parts that we feel, we've got them under control. For example, you might be thinking, oh, I'll give my relationship to Christ because it's just a mess in that department, but career-wise, I've got it covered. I know where I'm going. I know my 5-year plan. I mean, I've got everything in order when it comes to that. So Christ, please stay away from this one, right? So we compartmentalize our lives and we want to bring Christ where we feel we don't have control, right? But fact is, the reason why we do not have peace, it's because we are trying to take over our lives. We are trying to be on the throne of our lives. We are trying to control things that are happening in our lives. But when we say we are Christians, we are basically saying we will live under God's kingdom. And when you are under somebody's kingdom, it means his rules will rule over you. You are giving yourself or submitting yourself to the king of this kingdom, right? And there's no way we can submit half of ourselves and keep the other half and expect to have peace at the same time, right? The reason why we lack so much peace is because we are still on the throne of some parts of our lives, and until we let go of that control, we might just struggle to enjoy peace fully in our lives. So today I want to talk to you about get off the throne for peace sake. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner voice magnified. Earlier on this year, during one of our services in church, our priest was sharing a story where in January, he says, when he was preparing to go on Daniel's fasting, that's a 21-day fasting, right? When he was preparing himself, he was busy writing down a list of prayer requests. He says, as I was writing down, then I heard God saying, but whose fasting is this? And then he said, but God, it's yours. And he says, so why am I not involved in your plans for this fast? He says, at that point, he felt so convicted that he threw away his list and he went to God and he said, God, in prayer, I want to go into this fast. What do you say I must pray for? What do you need me to pray for this year? And he said, the first thing that God said to him is, pride. Let's pray for your pride, right? And he was, you know what, from that point onwards, pride has been his main focus for the year. He decided at that point to get off the throne, he said, and put back God on his throne, right? That never left me because it made such an impact on me, because I started getting that, we lack peace because we want to control certain areas of our lives. And sometimes we are not even aware that we are leaving God out of our plans. When things are going well, career-wise, for example, we start making 2-year plans, short-term plans. This year, this is what I want to achieve. In 5 years, this is what I want to achieve. And this is the position that I want to find myself in. And we start making all these plans. We start studying so that we can get to these positions that we've decided that we want to be in the next 5 years, in the next 2 years, or whatever the case may be, right? Because we feel at that point that, I've got this career thing on lockdown. I know what I'm doing with regards to my career, right? and we leave God out of it. We don't even ask God, where do you want to see me in the next 5 years? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And am I supposed to be in the same industry? Am I supposed to be in the same job? Or is there something else that you'd rather I would be doing in the next seasons of my life, right? We exclude God, especially in areas where we think we've got control, where we think we've got things on lockdown, right? And then we turn around and give him maybe our relationship side of life, right? Because we've been trying our own way to find these good relationships, but we end up being mixed up in messes, right? And ultimately we decide, okay, God, you can take over the relationship part. Please, Lord, give me a man. Please, Lord, give me a wife. But I want her to be like this and this and this and this and that. Even then, when we have been failing to get our own partners in our own power and might, right? We still tell God the kind of person that we want. We don't ask God, what kind of person do you want for me? Give me the person that you believe will be right for me, the person that will serve my purpose, and the person that I will be able to serve in their purpose journey, right? So we tend to take control over our lives so much. And when things go wrong, we then say God doesn't respond to our prayers. Maybe now this is the 5th year. You thought by now you would be the CEO of that company. And hello, you're still in lower management. You're still a supervisor. So you've been praying for 5 years and there was no movement whatsoever. And now you're bitter and angry at God because you made all these plans without him. You sat on his throne, and now when your things are not coming together, you expect him to do miracles in your life. You start blaming him for things not working out. And how do we have peace when we are angry at God? I mean, God is the source of peace. I mean, I don't know a life of peace without God. Honestly speaking, I can tell you all these things that we can do practically, but ultimately the Spirit of God that lives on the inside of us is what gives us the ability to do all these practical things, to be able to enjoy peace even in difficult times, right? When God expects you to do something, then he empowers you through his Spirit to do everything that you need to do in order to obey him, right? So with regards to peace as well, we will have peace once we get off the throne and we start giving God his rightful place in our lives. You know what? It is so easy to push God to the side and make plans and afterwards bring him back and say, please, these are my plans. I need you to you know what, I've been through it, right? So I know it so well. I need you to bless these plans, right? We do that. And honestly, with humility, not seeing anything wrong with it, we make our own plans and we ask God to bless them. And when God says, okay, I'm gonna tweak it a little bit because this part won't work for the purpose that I have for you on this earth, then we blow a gasket, right? We just don't accept when God changes our plans. We fail to realize that things don't go according to our plans, maybe because God is tweaking our plan a little bit so that it serves the purpose that he has for us on this earth. So I just wanted to remind you, maybe the reason why you don't have peace or you cannot enjoy peace even in difficult situations is because you're still on the throne of your life. So get off the throne for peace sake. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner peace and purpose coach.